Yo, what is going on, Docs gang? We live back for another video, and today we're gonna be doing a video on how to make your hi-hats sound a bit more interesting, make them more active in your beat. You know what I'm saying? You don't want just two-step hi-hats the whole beat, so we need to spice it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We need to add some of that. No? Okay. Alright, but yeah, if you guys like the video, make sure you leave a like. Don't forget, leave comments in the comment section on videos that you do in the future. And also don't forget to share this video with your friend. And also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And of course, turn on post notifications so you don't miss a video or live stream. Let's get into this hi-hat tutorial, and I'm gonna see you on my computer. Peace. Alright, y'all, we're back on my computer for this hi-hat tutorial. And let's get right into it. So all I did right now, I just picked out a hi-hat and a snare. The reason why I picked out a snare is because snare and hi-hat sounding together, it'll give you guys a better feel of why I'm doing the things that I do, the techniques that I use, as compared to just, you know, having the hi-hat on its own. So yeah, let's get right into it. So first thing with the hi-hats, I chose this one, very basic hi-hat. You know, choose whatever one you want. So the first thing that I do when I put on my hi-hats, and I know a lot of people do this, I just like to fill this up 2 spaces. So fill each 2 steps, that's what I like to do. And at first you might have seen like all this stuff is blank. If I just did this and did fill 2 steps, it's only fill up those things. So what I would do is click the last one, or any of those, yeah, click one of the last ones, then click fill each 2 steps, and then it's gonna fill up all of your hi-hats. So there's that. Now when I start actually editing them, I like to go into the piano roll with the hi-hats, highlight every single one, and then I press Control-L so that all of the hi-hats are going to be touching, and it's going to be easier to make hi-hat rolls with them. And we're going to get into that in a minute. Alright, so, and also I got to do this last one too. Got to bring that all the way out there. Okay, first thing I like to do with my hi-hats is highlight the 4th one in every bar. First thing I like to do with my hi-hats in the piano roll is highlight every 4th one in the bar. Then I press Alt-U, and when you press Alt-U, this window comes up. It's the chopper. It's what allows you to do hi-hat rolls and, you know, things like that you may hear a lot in trap music. And with this time knob, or whatever you want to call it, you can change the amount of chops you want. So you can do 4, 2, so it's like, I think that's 8 or something, and then just do like 16 and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I mean, for now we're just gonna keep it at 4 because that sounds good. So the hi-hats are just gonna sound like just regular hi-hats. Yep, so basic stuff. It's very simple stuff. Now that we got the rolls in, one thing I like to do is change the pitch of my hi-hats. Now you may see this from a lot of producers like Southside, of course, Metro, Boomin. Loads of producers do this all the time. They like to switch the change the pitch of their hi-hats and whatnot, so gives your beat a kind of unique bounce per se. I mean, everyone does it now, so it's not as unique anymore, but you know what I'm talking about. So what I like to do, you could just do this, bring it down, pitch, it doesn't matter where, you just go wherever. Just make sure you keep it in the same vertical position, and then your hi-hats are going to sound a little nicer. I'm just going to put this one maybe here, and this one, bring it down here. So I'm just putting it in random places. It doesn't matter where you put them, like, at all. So this is what the hi-hats are going to sound like. Alright, so very nice. We're getting somewhere, you know, it's sounding a little bit more bouncy and whatnot. We're getting somewhere, but we're not quite there yet. So what I like to do, I like to add even more to it. And of course you're gonna be like, well, how are we gonna do that? Well, I'll show you in a minute. In the first 4 bars, we are going to add another roll to this first one here, so that the roll changes pitch. I do this a lot in my beats. To me, it just sounds really nice. So what I'm gonna do is just highlight this and go back to Alt-U and leave it at 4. You can change it whatever. I leave it at 4. Most people leave it at 4. And then it's going to have a nice sound going from higher pitched hi-hats to lower pitched. So as you can tell, it's gonna sound like that. You can even put this all the way up above the C. Like, I normally like to keep my hi-hat down here. Sometimes you can bring them up like high. I wouldn't do it too high, like around here. It's just extra. Like, I would probably, you know, keep your hi-hats around this if you're gonna go above C. I just like to keep them, you know, lower here. But just for the sake of showing you guys, I'm gonna show you that it just sounds fine when you put it above C. So yeah, there it is. There you can, that's what it would sound like. Now, one more thing I like to do, let's move on to this section. I'm just going to move on to it so that we have a nice pattern going at the end of this. So, another thing I like to do with this, I'm just going to delete this last one just because I want to show you guys something. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to shrink this one. I like to, okay. Another way you can switch up your hi-hats is to add 3 equally sized notes in this space right here. The way we do that is we just copy this one by holding shift and then left clicking. Then I'm just going to shorten this so it can be equal, like 3 equally. And then, and then we're going to highlight that one and then press Control B, like so. And it should be good like that. And if you make a mistake and you don't, you know, like measure it out equally, like let's say you make it like this and you're like, oh snap, it's not all the way through. Oh, it's not, they're not all filling up this space here, or this space here. All you gotta do is use this and drag it, and you should be fine. And also make sure, yeah, that it stays in line. But yeah, this is what it's going to sound like when it gets here. So yeah, as you can tell, it has a nice sound to it. It changes up the bounce and whatnot instead of just going, you know, 2 steps at a time and then the roll. It has another type of bounce to it. And another thing that we can do, what I like to do, is just like highlight this last note, bring it all the way down a little bit, just pitch it kind of low, and then it'll sound. And you know, just a little, it's just a very, you know, distinct thing that I like to do, but it's just one of my things. Alright, now we're going to move on to one very popular technique that many major producers do nowadays, and it's what I like to call the stair hi-hats. I don't really know what's the real name for them, but let's begin. I'll show you guys. So what we're going to do real quick, I'm just going to move this one up. What a lot of producers like Southside like to do is make each of these hi-hat rolls have a different pitch. So what I mean by that, they make them come down gradually like this. You can have it, you know, like this or whatever, but I like to have mine end on a low note, so I just like to have the last one end pretty low. And even sometimes I do the second one. But when they all go down like this, it's going to have a very, very unique sound than just a regular roll like here. Like, it won't sound just like that, but it'll sound like this. So that just gives the hi-hats, once again, a very nice and different, quote-unquote, different bounce. And another thing you can do with that, you can even do it backwards. So let's do it with this one. Let's make this one backwards. And let's even bring it above C. Oops. Let's bring it above. I'm going to highlight all of them, shift, and press up on the up arrow key, and it'll sound like this. And, you know, once again, just something to switch it up. Alright, what's another thing? Let me see what's the time. 11. One last thing I like to do with my hi-hats is when I roll maybe about 8 hi-hats, or when I add rolls to maybe 2 hi-hats like this, to add notes like this, I like to mess with the velocity a bit, and I like to make the velocity decrease as the song goes on, so it gives it kind of a fading effect, And I'll show you guys how to do that right about now. So we're gonna highlight 2 of these, like right here, and we're gonna do Alt U, leave it on, make it so that it's 8 rolls or 8 hi-hats for the roll, and we click accept. And now we highlight all of these, and what I like to do with the velocity, I'm just going to zoom in so it's easier to actually mess with the velocity. So we're going to zoom in, and then we're just going to focus on these highlighted ones right here. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to gradually bring these down like stairs, just like that. And this is going to give the hi-hats a fading effect, so they should sound like this. And there's another way you can add some flavor to your hi-hats. And we can even add that to the end of this and have it do the opposite and increase in sound. So instead of having the velocity decrease, so we're going to highlight them, Alt U, press accept, we're going to have the velocity increase. So it'll sound like this. So as you can tell, it just gives your hi-hats a bit more of a unique sound. Once again, I've said that about a million times, and I apologize, but I digress. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like. Don't forget to comment on videos I should do in the future in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications while you're at it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna see y'all next time.